Alright, so this is definitely going on YouTube, no matter how much of a disaster this ends up being. So, new intro. Hey guys, this is Primeval, and today I have the great honor and pleasure of playing the designer of Offworld Trading Company, the captain himself, Soren Johnson. And we're going to play with 8 players to let as many other people as possible in on the fun. And hopefully we'll be off to a good game. But yeah, full lobby, everyone's on manager, everyone but you. You referring to you, not me, or you, is ready. And once we get over that little hiccup, oh yeah, we can definitely turn replay file off. And maybe Soren can comment as to whether or not the replay file actually does cause lag, or if there are some solutions to that. And then we'll go. Alright, I'm excited.
High levels of aluminum found.
Alright, so remember, we're going to take the first juicy spot we see. This looks like it right now. Oh man, seriously?
That will be useful.
Preliminary scans
well,
agree this is a great primary location for our new investment. You can
let's
count
mine
on
that.
us.
Low levels of carbon found.
And we'll mine this.
Scientific colony
And
found.
we'll drop
Levels of water
one
found.
steel mill. I think I can cover
High levels of
that.
carbon
And
found. Low
well,
levels
if we
of
can afford another claim, we were the first to found, or one of the first to found, so we're not going to get access to the nice cheap stuff here. I'd like to claim the geothermal spot. Let's have a look at the map, and then we'll have a look at the off-world prices. There are a lot of geothermal vents, or vent spots, so it might not be as profitable as I'd like. Soren is taking a good gander at the map. He hasn't settled yet.
Scientific colony
Let's
found.
sell down all of this stuff. We'll let our debt balloon, and we'll take the upgrade. Oh, seriously? Oh,
The shareholders will
Titoku is... I don't know why he would claim so many geothermals there. But let's see, what do we want to go into next? Silicon is extremely distant, but let's drop a quarry right there. And we could get into glass, or we could get into reactors. But I probably want a source of my own water. Water seems to be all on this side of the map. Let's grab this water, one of the only medium waters left before it disappears. And I could bid this up a little. It's not that far away from my base. I think I can go to 16,000 for that, but that's the max. In fact, that's a little more than I want. And I think C lets you is the hotkey for claim. But I'm not going to take the time to type that into the chat for York. Sorry, York. Now let's see. We could get another steel mill going. That would help us move along a little faster. And the price of steel isn't terrible, although I do need to have a look at what everyone else is building out. Triple steel. Not everyone's building steel, so the price of steel is going to be fairly reasonable, at least for a little while. Claims for 600 or 6,000. Let's go and sell down. We can delay our next upgrade to grab that claim. Got it. And we still need to do something very profitable with our 3 remaining claims. So I think I want to go, we'll build out 1 glass, since we do have silicon coming in, and then we'll probably go into reactors or food. Alright, let's build the glass before or while we're vacillating on that decision. Okay. We're going to go into food then. Food, it does have the higher price. But we're going to need the glass. Our reactor's going to be cheaper to build out. We already have everything we need to build reactors. So instead of taxing our glass reserves, we'll build out the 2 reactors. The prices are close enough, and reactors generate both oxygen and fuel, so I think that'll be okay. Only 1 Goon Squad purchased so far, which means one of these guys is not Goon Squad protected. Yoink. Okay, so glass factory needs oxygen. Do I want to manual buy? I think I'll manual buy. I don't want to get bitten by forgetting to turn off auto supply if the prices become very unfavorable. Alright, the next goal is off-world markets, and while we're waiting, we'll check the off-world prices. Wait, the final goal is off-world markets. The next goal is the upgrade. Let's see, food at 300, oxygen, pretty low off-world prices. I mean, food is reasonable. You definitely want to bid on these claims. Let's see, what's going to be worth? Chemicals are worth a decent amount off-world. Glass is actually going to be, well, glass or chemicals. I think 10,000 is going to be the limit here, and we'll definitely buy up some more water. In fact, let's sell down some of the steel for that. And we'll let the captain get that. Although maybe we shouldn't have. Alright, let's also buy out some iron to keep those steel mills running. We're making some nice money off of that mutiny power, but we need to get into power ourselves, and so that's going to need some more claims. And so we're going to need the HQ upgrade. We almost have the steel we need, and we should still soon have the glass that we need too. Okay, we're paying a lot for food. Buy up some more water while it's cheapish to fuel the reactors. Sell down the fuel and food. Take our upgrade. And I think there are going to be way too many geothermals on this map, but let's claim a geothermal anyways. And we'll pick up a Goon Squad there. Actually, with the Goon Squads being so cheap, that means no one's geothermals are defended. We should have gone for the mutiny instead then. But we still have 3 claims to play with. We want more water. And we want a little iron. Iron's super cheap too. Let's see. We're going to get into farms, but we need water for that too. Or we will eventually. Water's going to skyrocket. I just know it. But while we put in some farms right here. Alright, so farms. We need more glass to build farms economically. Let's see. Geothermal. We have requisite resources, we'll get that going, and we'll put the Goon Squad on that. Needs iron. Buy a bunch of iron, buy a bunch of water. Alright, fuel, we can sell that down. And we have the glass now, so we'll build another farm. And grab a mutiny. The Goon Squads have gone up in price. People are starting to protect those. Let's see. But alright, well, mutiny our favorite geothermal. I always do that. I have this little plan in my head, and then I go and do it without double checking whether or not the prices are still favorable. Anyways, well, we've got some extra power. We're making a tiny bit of money off of that. Okay, so pirates. Let's see. The captain is scientific. Is he shipping in goods from afar? Valuable goods. Glass. Yes, he is. So we will bid that up. Let's see. Do we have some alternates? Yep, even more glass over there. So at the current price, we could go to 20,000 and still make a handy profit. 24,000, but that's it. 28,000, we can let someone else grab that, I think.
32,000.
Now I'm starting to lose money. I'm hoping someone outbids me. We'll go for this glass.
Pirates. I hate those
Scientific
filthy
colony
bandits.
expanded.
Okay, and I really shouldn't have wasted that mutiny. We'll switch these guys to auto supply. That mutiny on the power plant there. But
Scientific colony
now it's
expanded.
time to head for the next upgrade. Let's see. Building out more gas plants. I mean, our pirates are going to bring in some glass, but
The black market.
excuse me, we need more liquid assets. Yes, definitely. And sell down the food. And another mutiny, or we could pick up a claim. 10,000 is our fair price. With this, I am going to build out another reactor.
Expansive colony expanded.
Now, Blacklights is and a Tetoku both hit level 4.
Scientific colony expanded.
Need glass badly. And need liquid assets to buy water.
Expansive colony expanded.
With this new expansion,
Yeah, so there's
we
the
have
upgrade.
increased our potential production rates by a lot. The shareholders will love it.
Where am I pumping my water from? I thought it was somewhere over here. But I guess not. Did my water claim bounce? It might have. Alright, well,
The black market.
for now, the price of water is very reasonable. But it could easily get much worse. Alright, well, with these claims, let's build one more glass factory. Silicon is super cheap. We have plenty of oxygen coming in from these reactors. The price of fuel is super high. Let's really dedicate ourselves to the reactor plan right now then. And we could start going into another resource. Well, power's really cheap. Let's throw down a pleasure dome.
Scientific colony
Maybe
expanded.
over here. And we'll buy out some iron. In fact, we'll auto supply. I can't imagine iron shooting up in price. Water engine? I don't think so, not with these power prices. But water is probably going to go up in price here. We really should.
Expansive colony expanded.
Get some water going. Or we could build another reactor. Let's see, does this guy get... Okay, well, our reactor farm did attract attention. Let's see. He does... That reactor farm, though, does get a 200% adjacency bonus, though, which is pretty awesome. Okay, who do I need to slow down? Blacklights is at level 5 already. He's working on something here.
We're not
Who knows what it
surprised,
is?
just
And he defended against it too. Too smart, Blacklights. Too smart. Well, we could Goon Squad our Pleasure Dome. That could be helpful.
Scientific colony expanded.
Ooh, and there's the price of water. Alright, so let's, well, definitely turn the farms off. We can turn off all of our reactors, even though they're frozen down. And what do we need? We need the upgrade, yes, definitely. And we need water. Where can I get water from?
We'll be able to ship more industries.
Looks like all the sources of water have been tapped out. I mean, we could take this one water here, or we could start trying to move into buying people to get their water. Alright, let's drop one water pump right here. We might get some adjacency bonuses going if we can buy someone out. And...
The black market is online.
Well, we've got some cheap prices here. What's York producing?
Scientific colony expanded.
Well, he's got some water coming in, but otherwise he doesn't really have anything too exciting going on. What about the captain? The captain just hit level 4. He's really crowded in against these other guys. He's got steel. Steel's a reasonable price. Water is insanely expensive. I need to do something about that water. Oxygen versus glass. We'll want to probably turn off our glass plants. Ooh, this is ugly. Alright. I don't have a way to get more water. I can mutiny someone's high water. Looks like the water here was underground nuked. Something weird happened with that icon. Is there a high water elsewhere that I can mutiny? People are getting into dry ice or ice condensers to meet their water needs. I guess we could do that. In fact, with this guy, with these pirates, I'm going to steal water. There's definitely going to be
Colony expanded.
some opportunity for that. We could use all those claims and just build out water condensers. Doesn't seem great though. Okay, where is everyone getting their water from? If I can hurt black lights, I really want to do that.
I hate
Okay, so he's getting his water from over here. Let's steal some of his water. Mutiny that. He is scientific, so we only get it for a very brief amount of time. The price of oxygen is still insanely high, but we can't run any our money makers because the price of water is so big. At least we're getting income from the pleasure dome, but our debt is really high. Let's sell down some of the steel. We need to get our Offworld online, and we need to slow down black lights.
Break our stuff.
Alright, someone tried to go after our black lights, went after
Colony expanded.
our pleasure dome there. This thing is defended for another 44 seconds, and he's almost certainly bought out a new goon squad, probably for that very second Offworld market. What can we do to slow him down? Power surge is pretty cheap right now. The price of steel is reasonable, and we can find out maybe if his Offworld is ready. Alright, so these guys are floating off. That looks like water, but where is he headed with that? Oh, he cleared these tiles to get more water going. Well.
Scientific colony.
Alright, we want our Offworlds online, and we want to do something with our tiles. I guess it's going to be steel mills and chemical labs. Alright, fine. Steel mill, and
Scientific
we can
colony
go
expanded.
and scrap the farms, or, well, build out
Extensive
labs.
Colony expanded.
And then we'll save the last spot for our first Offworld, and we'll scrap something else as need be for the second Offworld.
Is online.
Alright, I need another water that I can mutiny. The good water. Like this one will interrupt one of his adjacency bonuses. I did pick up the mutiny for a relatively cheap price, so I don't mind using it on a scientific opponent.
Screw with us, and we screw with you.
Buy one of our own stock. No one should be interested in that geothermal plant. With glass being as it is, we should turn these guys... No, auction's too expensive. Alright, how much is my Offworld going to cost? 20,000. Sell down some of this glass, that'll get us closer. We could go maybe hacker array. Ice condensers. Okay, so I want to buy someone out. Someone who's making a lot of good stuff. Or maybe this guy who's out crowded right beside me. I don't know how efficient all those water condensers are. Okay, who's got a nice bargain stock? The captain does. The captain making some good stuff. He is. Alright, let's start buying our way into the captain. Sell down some of that. We need our off-worlds up too, though, so maybe we won't invest too heavily in the captain. 200 steel for the off-world. Okay, off-world time. Build that up over here. This thing needs carbon now. You guys should be on auto supply. Start auto supply. We won't be able to afford a goon squad. These guys need iron. Price of iron is rising. But not, well, we'll manual buy. I don't want to risk having another auto supply disaster. Alright, so we have one off-world up, and we'll buy up uncontrolled shares in the captain. How's York doing? York has been all over the place, so we wouldn't really... Well, he does have... Well, no, their water's all on their own. We could try for... What's you got going? He does have some water pumps. And, well, those could be scrapped and turned into water pumps. I think, well, captain's going to cost 160,000. We're going to need our off-worlds. What are we going to ship off? Oh, nice. The price of water has gone down. So we're going to ship food off-world as soon as we can afford to.
Let this be a lesson.
We can also ship a load of chemicals off-world, but we don't have enough fuel. Needs water. Sell down some aluminum, sell down some iron.
New land is available for auction.
Sell down some chemicals, but this is what I want to ship off-world, so I'm not going to sell too much.
Auction unclaimed. Bidding closed.
Alright, so we're going to ship one load of chemicals, potentially multiples. Yeah, the price of food is actually worth more on-world compared to chemicals, whereas the off-world price of chemicals is higher. So we'll auto-ship chemicals, see how we do with that. Now, is there someone else I can buy? Let's see. Stood Far Back has an off-world going. Presumably, he or she also has good supplies of water. Let's see. We could sell our shares in the captain, and then try to go for Stood Far Back instead, since he does have the off-world up already. Okay, but sell down food. We need fuel for the launches.
Off-world shipment launched. Look at all the money.
Okay, good. So we've got some money. Buy a little more to Stood Far Back.
Screw with us, and we screw with you.
Price of oxygen is reasonable. Still shipping chemicals. We could switch one electrolysis over to chemicals, definitely.
Your stock is being bought.
And Stood Far Back is doing some retaliatory stock buying. We need our second off-world. What can I sell down? We need electronics. Electronics are pretty expensive. Let's see. Sell down a full unit of that. And... well, there goes our off-world. That's going to be expensive to repair. We need electronics. Electronics are super expensive right now, so... Fair. We can't afford a goon squad to protect our off-world market. Let's leave that as is. The reason we're being targeted now, we're not in a particularly strong position. It's just because we sort of scared Stood Far Back by buying slightly lightly into him. Alright, we'll sell off our one share in the captain, get a little more in terms of liquid assets. I think I do want to buy some of that. And, well, oxygen and silicon are cheap. We'll keep the glass plants running. Someone's gonna mutiny our pleasure dome. Let's see, who can we slow down here?
I hate those filthy bandits.
Price of steel is completely crashed out, so off-roads will be really cheap. Sell down. Ooh, what are we losing all this money to? Water. We need to turn the auto supply off, or turn off all of these guys. Turn off. Turn off. Okay, we lost a lot of money to that. This guy's still being repaired. These guys need iron. Iron's more expensive. We'll turn that off.
Your
And
stock
we
is
should-
being bought.
Well, we need carbon. Looks like we're going to be bought out. Okay, so we'll sell down a bunch of chemicals to get cash on hand to buy the carbon that we need. We won't need the steel. The captain has bought out York.
Offworld shipment launched. Look at all
Okay,
the
so we want another off-world, and I'm going to put that right here. Delete that. Okay, so 2 off-worlds, launching chemicals, double launch chemicals, and price of water has somewhat recovered. Well, that power surge didn't go in the direction I wanted it to. Okay, we can turn the steel mills back on. The price of iron has gone back down. Sell down all that steel. Sell down a batch of chemicals since we don't have 2 off-roads yet. And let's see, price of food versus price of water. Turn the farms back on. But the reactors will have to remain off. Let's buy up some of this fuel while it's cheap. We do need to launch rockets after all.
Offworld shipment
And
launched.
I guess we need to pay down the debt before someone has their way with us. Okay, so both off-world markets. Operational. Launching 2 shipments of chemicals at a time.
The black market is online.
New land is available for
Thermal
auction.
chemicals we want to keep. Glass isn't worth a lot, but still worth running with needs oxygen
Auction
our auto
unclaimed,
supply.
bidding closed.
And food we can sell down, but off. Turn off the farms. Okay. Everyone else has amazing stock prices. Oh, seriously? We've been hit by another dynamite. Really, I mean, if that was stood far back, then I can maybe understand, although it would only be purely from the grudge perspective. I only have 1 share in them. But otherwise, we are not the main threat here. Look at our stock price. I guess they're trying to weaken us so that they can buy us out. That is a reasonable proposition, actually. But it
Shipment
doesn't mean I'm happy about it.
Look at all the money.
Okay, still double off-worlds going. We do have enough to do some repairs here. And I really need to get into electronics. Let's scrap... how's the price of steel doing? It's okay, but we'll scrap all of the farms and put in electronics then. In fact, how's the price of glass doing? Better than the price of
Offworld
steel.
shipment launched. Look at all the money.
Water is so expensive. I need to buy out someone who can make me water. Alright, well, we'll keep on buying it to stood far back. He'll be our target. He doesn't even have an off-world. I guess someone blew that up. Okay, how are these shipments doing? They are alright. And we can also go and... Steel's worth nothing, we'll turn the steel mills off. And this guy needs carbon, start auto supply please. Ooh, but the price of carbon's gone way up, we need to turn the labs off. Alright, that means we need to buy our chemicals on world, the off-world shipments. And I mean, we could buy a claim for 25,000 if I had a nice carbon source somewhere, which I don't. I'm assuming carbon scrubbing is gone. Yeah, long gone. The captain went and grabbed very, very many patents. Alright, so we can probably turn these guys back on again. Price of carbon has normalized. Purchased out. Alright, well, that was fun. Fortunately, things didn't go as well for us as we would have liked. Let's see. Stood for back is the guy who purchased us out, or girl. They seem to be making a lot of water, so they really capitalized on that. I should have gotten more water sources online sooner. I was predicting that water would go up, but I didn't want to commit to that at the time, and then by the time the price of water went way up, every water source on the map was claimed. Alright, let's have a look at what Soren's been building. So he's got, let's see, triple steel, fairly distant from his scientific headquarters. He's got 2 water here. Water is pretty important this time around. He built 1 geothermal. He's got 2 off-worlds. One of them is Goon Squad protected. He's got the engineering bay, which he's probably working. Well, he's working it right now, but he probably has a lot of good upgrades on that. And so if Soren does win this, that'll be a nice come from behind because he was off to a really slow start. And he's heavily invested in electronics. And electronics have maintained their prices really well, especially with a lot of off-worlds being destroyed and having to have been rebuilt. Alright, so I'm really liking Soren's setup, which is unsurprising. He should be quite good at this game. Let's have a look at Stood Far Back again. Let's see. Again, he was into water, he's got some food going, and his farms are actually running despite the fact that water is much more valuable. So if he shut those down and just sold the water, he would get a lot farther along. Got some silicon coming in, but he doesn't, and a lot of water over from these condensers. For expansive, he doesn't seem to have a lot of claims, or at least the line's not pointing in the right direction. Alright, let's have a look at Blacklights. Where was he set up? Ooh, 5 hacker arrays. Let's go and check the post-game report to see what he's been hacking. Alright, so let's see. Purges and surpluses. Blacklights. He's been shorting power. Alright, let's switch back to observe. So he has, well, he mutinied a couple geothermals, and he has a geothermal of his own. So, oh man, wow. Blacklights is making so much money off of power. So he's increasing the price of power by stealing other people's power plants. And he has hacker arrays going, shorting shorting the price of power, raising it, and as a result, he's making what I can only assume is ridiculous amounts of money per turn. I can't bring up the indicator as to exactly how much money he's making, but we can check the post-game report and look at resources, Blacklights. So power, auto sold, 100,000. So, and he's also had to purchase a bunch of power. So he hasn't been generating a lot of his own power. The only reason he's making any money now is because he mutinied 2 geothermals, and then he's shorted power repeatedly, I believe. So Yeah, 5 shortages in power. Yet somehow, am I reading that correctly? He hasn't. Okay, so he has made a killing off of power. It's just he's had to purchase a whole bunch of water, food, and electronics. So forget that. Blacklight's definitely had a plan, and he's made a whole bunch of money off of power. In fact, since we've last looked at this value, he's made another 50,000. So go back to observe. The price of power has gone back down, and so that last bit of that last price was artificial based on his 5 hacker arrays. The abilities, each shortage stacks. So if you've got each hacker array working on a power shortage and they all trigger within the same amount of time, you can really raise the price of power, which is what Blacklight's did. So now let's see how much cash these guys have on hand. The captain, Soren Johnson, has almost 900,000, whereas Blacklight's only has 90,000. So the captain's going to win this despite his slow start. Let's see. Yeah, he's definitely going to get to 14 or 1.4 million before Blacklight's does. Although I was happy to see that very interesting strategy by Blacklight's. He had to commit 5 tiles to hacker arrays, and he only made 160,000 off of shorting power. So let's do a comparison. If we look at how much the captain made Offworld, $1 million, and then if we go and look at Blacklight's, his Offworld, okay, so he made off of power only 200,000, which pales in comparison to the power of Offworld's. Whereas the captain, it's only made slightly more on Offworld's. So like that whole power shorting strategy is definitely a good supplement, but it's not as strong as, at least in this game, it hasn't been as strong as getting your Offworlds online early and effectively. All right, so let's take a look at the monies again. 1.3 million, almost to the buyout, versus Blacklight's, he's only at maybe 500,000-600,000. Oh, but that's quickly accelerating. So almost 700,000 for Blacklight's. The captain's at 1.4 million, and that's almost the buyout cost. So if the captain just shares the, either he needs a couple more Offworld shipments, or he can sell one of his own shares to get him there. So yeah, congratulations to the captain. I'm sure some of you never had a doubt, but he was off to a really slow start. And I think, well, let's, after the game ends, we'll have a look at the post-game graph and see, well, what patents the captain picked up and also what engineering improvements he picked up. Because I think in the future, that's something we're definitely going to have to focus more on. All right, let's look at the post-game report again, and we'll switch over to technology. We'll go and look at the captain. He upgraded his power production a lot, and that must have shielded him somewhat from the market manipulation that Blacklight's was doing. He also upgraded water production, definitely makes sense, and a little electronics production. He was heavily into electronics, and electronics was worth a lot. And what patents did the game designer pick up? Superconductors, pretty much all of them. So he missed out on teleportation, cold fusion, and nanotech, but everything else apparently was very worthwhile. Cool. Well, Soren Johnson, it was an honor. If you're still playing, half an hour from now, I'll be up for another game, but I do have a bunch of things I need to take care of. So there's